At Connecting America, as you know, we are all about giving people a place to express their opinions, whatever they are. We respect civil conversations. We don't like to scream and yell here. And we found an organization that has a similar mission. It's called Search for Common Ground, a nonprofit that extends its reach actually around the world. And today we have the U.S. Executive Director, Nealin Parker, joining us. Welcome, Nealin. We're so happy you're here. We are all about creating that safe space to talk about tough issues, listen to other opinions. You're pursuing this around the world. In fact, with people and nations that don't trust each other, maybe even despise each other. How do you begin to create that environment where you can at least talk to one another civilly?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me just say I'm thrilled to be here because we do have this shared mission. And there are lots of different ways to come at this issue. But the first piece is the same in almost every country, whether it's a country at war or a country that has people that are angry with each other, trying to figure out where to go. It always starts with listening and with a conversation. It can't end there, but it always begins with that starting place. So what you're doing here, having conversations civilly and bringing people together across differences around news, is very similar to the mission that we share working around the world. And of course, we're working in contexts like Afghanistan, Myanmar, countries where people have gone through real violence and sometimes over decades in the Middle East. And we're asking people to build a different kind of future. And when they do that, they start with these same talking points, these same sort of like, let's come together. And the way that we find is most useful is to think about, where do you want to go? Not where have we been, but what are you trying to build? And to have that shared context. And sometimes it's so hard to think about the politics of it, that it's much more effective to think about just the community and coming together. So we have gatherings where people come together and talk about food and talk about sports and talk about cocktails and talk about what it is that makes community for them, what brings them together. And then you can start to ease into some of the stickier conversations.
Neil, and that's so fascinating because obviously we're set in a diner. So we have this built in community. People, we don't
Love
ask
it.
anybody's politics when they come in the door. We don't ask anything about them, but everybody eats together and they can share over the breaking of bread. They can share opinions. And we try to, as we say, have civil discourse. So have you found that people are enthusiastic about meeting with people on the other side, or is it like pulling teeth to get them to the table?
Oh, no, absolutely. Because I think part of it is we aren't all on the other side of every issue. There are some divisions that we have in this country, and they're very powerful, but we're all wanting to have a better future for our children. We're all wanting to figure out how to be good people in the world. We're all wanting to do the daily life things. We get up in the morning, we eat 3 meals a day when we're fortunate enough to do that, and we're trying to build community. That actually isn't another side of our work. That's bringing people together across common interests. And one of the common interests that we found is, in fact, gathering itself. People want to come together. People want to be in community with each other, including across these divisions.
Right. If you could elaborate on that, it's a very powerful feeling when people come together and share a meal, like we're having in the diner this morning. In the US, you have a program where people on different sides of the issue can come together and eat and try to find the type of middle ground you're talking about, like hopefully what's happening here in this diner. Please tell us more about that.
I also just love that you're in a diner, and I'm sad that I'm over here on this side of the computer. I feel like I'm a little bit with you, but next time, if I can make it in person, I will show up. Should have brought my coffee mug, obviously. Um, yeah. So one of the things that we found is that when people are thinking about they're thinking about divisions in the country, it can feel really overwhelming. And it's kind of like, well, what can I, as an average person, do in the face of these big problems? So coming together and gathering actually is a proven way to fight some of that toxicity. When you come together in community, when you are working together to do something shared, like build a meal, then you decrease those feelings. And this is sort of like psychologically, you decrease those feelings. So we created programs that are for all kinds of different gatherings. They're called common ground gatherings. The kind of original one was Love Anyway feasts, our kind of OG gatherings. And that's where you host a meal in your home and you bring people together. But that's not for everyone. So we also have community and cocktails, United Plates Project, which is targeted more, which is more like university students coming together, and civic discourse. So there is kind of like a little bit for anybody depending on what your interests are, but the common thing across all of them is if you want to do something that makes a difference in your community, you invite people together. We help you out by having prompts for conversations because sometimes that can be a sticky point. While I said people across the board are excited about coming together, that's true, but sometimes they need like a little bit of support and a little bit of help to think through how would I set this up in a way that is going to be successful and where people feel like I had a really good time. I'm really glad that I came together with people who maybe think a little bit differently than I do and that I learned something along the way.
We love that you're making this effort to get people from both sides or all sides being able to have a civil conversation, and not shut down if you don't happen to agree. Um, Not even shout at each other, but just shut down and say, "Oh, I have nothing to say to you," because we need to have dialogue. Thanks so much for being here. We look forward to maybe continuing the conversation. There's plenty of room here at the table for you if you decide to make your way to the diner.
Oh, she has to. Nealon has to come to the diner for this. Do you love that one of the programs is called Civil Dish Course? We
Yes,
need to adopt that in the diner.
you like that one because
I
you
do.
you you often take issue with my diner puns, but okay, I'm writing that one
I'll
down.
allow our guests. I'll allow
Okay,
our guests to do
okay.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to be able to talk to one another. It's definitely an issue here, especially in these politically charged times.